All right, guys, what's up? It's week 4, and we are going to be talking about the NFL Sunday slate. We've got 6 picks for you as usual. I'm really happy to be back. Had a nice beach vacation there for the last week, but ran into a little bit of the crazy weather from the hurricane that blew through. Luckily, we still got a few sunny days at the beach, but I'm really happy to be home in my normal setup, and I can't wait for this football slate tomorrow. If you're new to our channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, give us a like on this video if you don't mind. It's a great way to support the channel. And drop us a comment if you have any fantasy football questions, if you have any questions about props, or if you want to just let us know what you're excited about, what you're getting into, just leave us a comment. And if you haven't signed up for Underdog yet, they're continuing to run promos every day. If you use code BACKDOOR or just go through the link in the description of the video that we have in there, they're going to give you up to $1,000 in bonus cash with your first deposit, and they're going to give you a free play to help you cash your first slip. And I believe they still have the Patrick Mahomes 0.5 yards on the board, so that's just in addition to everything you'll get just for signing up. So just use code BACKDOOR if they prompt you for a code, but you shouldn't need to if you just go through the link in the description. And they also have like boosts you can add to your slips, like 20%, 30% boost. So you just build out your slip, add that to it, and then it'll just increase your multiplier. And they also have no sweat tokens. They just continue to add. And like we've talked about before on mobile, they have crazy alt lines. You can get up to like 9x on a single play for some of these alt lines that actually have a reasonable chance to hit. So yeah, and if you haven't signed up for Sleeper yet, use code BACKDOORFS at Sleeper. We love playing Sleeper picks when we're kind of getting all of our fantasy football lineups together, because that's easily the best platform for fantasy football. If you're playing fantasy football, you should be on Sleeper for sure. So use code BACKDOORFS and they'll give you a 100% deposit match up to $100. There's a link in the description for all of our stuff there if you're interested. And then Prize Picks, if you want to sign up for Prize Picks, if you haven't yet, just use the code at the bottom of the screen, and with your first $5 bet, they'll give you $50 in bonus cash as well. All right, so let's talk about the plays we're going to be getting into. I'm liking James Conner fantasy score. On Prize Picks, it's at 15. On Underdog, what is it at here? 1385. Yeah, it's just the difference between full point PPR on Prize Picks and half point, but I like him to go over this by quite a bit in this game. And then on my next play, I'm going to be going with Brian Thomas Jr. On Prize Picks, I'm going with his receiving targets, which I like the best. I like him to go over 6. So we'll be taking that for more. And then on Underdog, they don't have the targets, so I'm taking the receptions at 3.5. It's just a 0.8x, but I like that safe play for this lineup. And then my last play is going to be Tyler Conklin. I like him to go over 24.5 receiving yards. That's the line we're getting on Prize Picks. On Underdog, I believe it's at 23.5. So even better, but I like him to go over both of these in tomorrow's game. What are you getting into, Jordy?
Yeah, I'm going to be going with Jahan Dotson for over 2.5 receptions. I'll get into why I like this play because it really does just matter about the game script on this one. But I also like Calvin Austin for over 1.5 receptions, and I'm taking Juwan Jennings for over 33.5 receiving yards. I can't even believe it's this low after what we just saw him do last week, but I'll get into all that.
Yeah, you got to think. You'll break that all down, but you got to think, like, even if Debo's good to go, if Kittle's good to go, like, of that performance, he's still going to get a decent snap share. Before we break into everything, I just want to shout out Lalo from our Discord. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, bro.
Happy birthday, bro.
I told him we would work extra hard on this slip to try to get him a little birthday cash on this 6-man. So pressure's on. We'll try not to let you down, bro, but we hope you had a good birthday.
For sure.
All right, so let me get started with my first play here. I'm going to go James Conner. I had his rushing and receiving yards up on Outlier. I just love taking a look, especially when I'm going fantasy score where I'm getting a little bit of everything. I like to dive into all the details since Outlier gives you so many categories to look at the specifics on. And if we look at this matchup here, killer matchup, 23rd in rushing yards allowed to running backs, 26th in receiving yards allowed to running backs. We know James Conner is one of the best pass catching running backs in the game. And he's got a lot of reasons to come out and absolutely ball tomorrow with what the Detroit Lions did. That had to be so frustrating for him. Like, they absolutely schemed the entire game to just take him out of the equation, and it worked like a charm. Once again, the Cardinals have the highest over under on the week at 49.5, or I'm sorry, just 49 even. Cardinals favored by 3.5. This should be a legit shootout because we saw what the Commanders were able to do to Cincinnati at home, and now the Cardinals are playing at home. I still think the Cardinals are a better team than Cincinnati right now, but I think the Commanders are not just going to get blown out in this game. So I like I like a lot of stuff for fantasy, honestly, in this game. I almost took Michael Wilson's receiving yards, which I still like. I'm sorry, his receptions is what I was looking at. But I like James Conner. Even if this turns into a shootout, Drew Petzing is very, he's a really good offensive coordinator, but he's very persistent about keeping a balanced offensive attack. So he's going to establish the run. And I think that James Conner is going to probably catch at least 3 passes in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets into the end zone. We'll be in good shape if he does. But let me go back to Outlier here. Let me go. If we look at his actual fantasy score, they just refuse to bump it up. But other than that one game where the entire plan was just to stop him, and like I said, it worked like a charm, 3.5 points. That's so out of character. His first 2 games of the season, he went for 19.3 and then 19.4. And then he went for 5 straight to end last year once they got everything clicking. He's going on before that, that little specific game where the whole game plan was to take him out. He went for, 7 games straight for 17.9 or higher. So I think this is a bounce back game for him, and the highest over under, there's going to be points to be had. We have Trey McBride out, which is one of the reasons why I like Michael Wilson. And we also have Marvin Harrison Jr., who is good to go, but was dealing with a little bit of an injury this week. So we don't know if he's going to be totally at 100%. So I like Michael Wilson, but I also like a lot of these targets that might typically go to a tight end that fits in perfect for James Conner to just catch more passes out of the backfield. So I love this play, going to be taking it for more. If we hop over to Daily Grind on their DFS optimizer, they disagree, but we're always transparent about these things. This is definitely my own narrative, my own gut play on this, that I like him to go over 15. But these other platforms have him down at like 13.6, 14.1, 14.3. So the optimizer is noticing Prize Picks has this all the way up at 15. So they're recognizing that as a discrepancy, and they're favoring at a 52.44% odds to hit the under. So go with your gut. If you don't like this play, just take it the opposite way, or just fade it, take the Michael Wilson play or another play that you like better than this one. But I'm going to definitely be going, this is actually my favorite play, but it's their favorite to go under. So go with your gut, but I'm going to be taking it for sure. If you guys do want to check out this DFS optimizer from Daily Grind, it's a killer tool. You can use it to find plays. It does all the work for you. And you can use it to confirm your plays, because you can see what all the other platforms have this line at, what their odds are set at, and you can decide whether or not you shouldn't just jump over to a different platform where you might be able to get it a little bit cheaper. But yeah, it's a killer tool. Use code BACKDOOR. You get 25% off for as long as you want to make your first subscription, all the way up to a year. So you can lock it in for all of football. You can lock it in for all of basketball too. However long you want to make it, 25% off if you do it on your first purchase there. So code BACKDOOR at dgfantasy.com and they'll hook you up. All right, so my next play, Brian Thomas Jr. He's just coming off this game. He's been getting a little bit more involved. He was doing a lot with his actual targets and receptions in these first 2 games, even though he only got 2. He had 2 games with only 4. But if we look at the receiving yards in those games, he had that game against Cleveland where he went for 94. I was kind of looking at his receiving yards in this, but I like the targets better because then he doesn't even have to catch the ball. But the matchup is juicy. Houston, they're going to be playing from behind in this game. I can almost guarantee you that. So they're going to have to be catching up. They've still got all sorts of issues with their run game. And we have a pretty high over under too at 45.5. Houston favored by 6.5, but this is Houston at home coming off of a game where they got completely embarrassed. So I think they're going to try to really just make a statement in this game. And the Jaguars have just looked so bad this year. So they're constantly playing from behind. That's part of the reason why last week he ended up getting 9 targets. And Christian Kirk still got like double-digit targets. So I think they're going to be playing from behind, even if there's I don't think there's going to be that big of a discrepancy between Christian Kirk and Michael Thomas Jr. I'm sorry, Brian Thomas Jr. Speaking too fast right now. I don't think there's going to be as big of a discrepancy there with the targets. I think it's going to be pretty even though it wasn't that far off. I just think that they're continuing to favor him more and more because he looks like absolutely the best, maybe the best player they have right now, if not definitely the best wide receiver. So I think he's going to be getting peppered with targets as they try to catch up. And the matchup is not bad. Like I said, 21st in receiving yards allowed. And then if we look at targets specifically, show me maybe they're, I don't know. Sometimes I have to refresh this. There it is. So yeah, actually pretty decent against targets. So 8th in targets allowed as far as receiving goes. Actual receptions, specifically the wide receivers, 11th in receptions allowed. So yeah, go with your gut. I like the 3.5 line on underdog for his receptions, but I think if he hits 4 receptions, he's probably going to do that on at least 6 targets. So I like the narrative here. I like him to go over that. If we take a look here, the optimizer has this at just an absolutely perfect 50-50 shot. It still says it's because I have it on just overs. You can fine tune everything on this optimizer. It's pretty sweet. So they like his fantasy score at 10 to go over a little bit if you'd rather take that. But I'm going to be going with the targets because I think whether or not he's able to like reel in these receptions, I think he's going to get targeted a lot because they're going to be playing from behind. So yeah, I'm going to be going with that for more. And then the receptions at 3.5 on underdog. And then I love this Tyler Conklin play. There's a lot of reasons to be excited about this play, in my opinion. Receiving yards allowed, the matchup is tough because we know how good Denver's secondary is. Let me look at this over under real quick. Is this up higher? Here we go. So 39.5 over under, Jets favored by 8, playing in New York. And I like him to get this done. I'm not saying he's going to go for 5 receptions and 93 yards again, but that matchup, it's going to be hard for Rodgers to really, Rodgers may come out and just really impress us against probably the best secondary in the league in Denver. But I think that it could be a tough outing for guys like Garrett Wilson and Alan Lazard and Mike Williams. So I think that he's going to be going to his security blanket at the tight end position. And you can see how tough it is overall in receiving yards, number 1. And then there's a soft spot versus tight ends, 14th in receiving yards allowed. And so the reason I went with the receiving yards over the receptions, because the receptions look decent too. But I think if he pulls down 3 receptions, I think he's going to hit those yards. That's my thing. I could see him getting 3 receptions and not hitting the yards. But I can't see him. I can also see a situation where he pulls down like 2 receptions and still clears this, because in his last game, he was averaging almost 16 yards a catch. And I know that they're favored to, handle this game but then when you think about the game last week against the Patriots, they dominated that game from start to finish. The Patriots looked awful, and he still put up 5 receptions for 93 yards. So that doesn't deter me, even though I think they're going to be playing with the lead. I think that they'll still be running the ball. This will probably be a good game for Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. But we see Rodgers likes to just get those quick little first downs here and there and just keep moving the ball, just like step by step, just sort of like carving them up. Just running the clock, getting up the field, and he doesn't have to just run the ball every time to get that done. So I really like Conklin to continue where he left off last week. And if we take a look here at the optimizer, they do have that 2.5 receptions as their favorite. So if you prefer that, take that. But I'm going to be going with the receiving yards, even though they actually have that favored to go under. So go with your gut. But to me, I think he can get over 24.5, 23.5. I think he can clear both of those lines in 2 catches, since he averaged almost 16 yards a catch last week. And if he hits this 3 receptions, I think he's going to for sure hit the yards. So that's just my gut play. But yeah, if you guys want to check out this app Outlier, You can see how great it is for us. You can really dive into the details when you're making decisions about your plays. You don't have to put in a code for this one. They're also a partner of ours. There's a link in the description. Just go through that link, and when you sign up, they're going to give you 7 days, give you a full week of an NFL slate just to see how you like it and decide whether or not you want to keep your subscription going. All right, Jordy, I'll pass it over, bro.
All right. Yeah, so to get me started with mine, I've obviously got the Calvin Austin play here. Really feeling good about Calvin Austin in this game. I know it looks bad on this right here, but honestly in the last game, he kind of stepped out as a way bigger role in their offense last week. So I think going into a matchup like this against Indiana, that it looks great to me. 25th in receptions allowed to wide receivers. Obviously Indiana's defense is not doing very well, and he's out there on 64% of the passing plays. So he's out there a lot. He's just not been getting targeted until last game, where he had 4 let's see what he did here. He had 5 targets for 4 receptions. So the dude went off. We only need 2 catches, so I think we can get that done at least. So really feeling good about this one. If we look at it on daily grind, it's also juiced to go over as a -127. So really feeling good about Calvin Austin here. And Jauan Jennings, this is just super duper low. I mean, this was a good line before the last game even. I mean, the dude's been crushing this. He's hit it in every game this year so far. He just went for 125 receiving yards against the Rams. I mean, the dude is an absolute beast. You know, he's hit this in 4 out of 5 straight games, even going back to last year. So he's a really talented receiver, and now he's really just stepped into a massive role with Debo being hurt and whatnot. But even with those guys, if those guys are back, I don't think Debo's back yet, but I know George Kittle is back. So we can actually look on here. It's the nice thing about Outlier here. So obviously no CMC. Debo is questionable, and let's see, it doesn't even look like Kittle's on here anymore, so he's definitely playing. So yeah, Debo's questionable, but I still like Jennings in this. I think he earned himself a lot more targets from Brock Purdy, so I really liking this one. It is juiced to go over -123, 51.16% chance, so feeling good about Jauan in this matchup. And then this was the one I wanted to talk about last, because this is an interesting play. Jahan Dotson over 2.5 receptions. I like this play a lot right now, just because if he doesn't break out in this game and at least get 3 catches in this game, it'll never happen for the kid, because Devontae Smith is out with a concussion. AJ Brown is confirmed out as of 6 hours ago with the hamstring soreness still. And Britton, I don't know how you say this kid's name, Covey's his last name. He was looking pretty good in their offense, but now he's also on IR with a shoulder injury. So this is the time for Jahan Dotson to really go off. Like I said, if he doesn't in this matchup, the matchup is so good. 29th in receptions allowed. Tampa Bay has been kind of struggling in their secondary, so this has got to be the time for Dotson to get this done. So with all those injuries, I just feel really good about this. I think obviously Saquon Barkley is going to be the main piece in this game, but they're going to have to throw the ball. So hopefully Jahan Dotson gets his, and it's not just like another game like last game where it was just Dallas Goedert getting like all the targets in the world. But even at that, they're going to be double covering, triple covering Dallas Goedert, I believe. I don't think they're going to let Goddard beat him. So it's got to be Dotson. It's got to be, Johnny Wilson and Paris Campbell and John Ross. I think out of all those names, I think Jahan Dotson has the most credibility besides maybe Paris Campbell. So I really like Dotson going into this game at 2.5 receptions. I'm definitely going to be rolling that. Also, don't forget to use your Caleb Williams free play, 0.5 passing yards. They're doing this for the first, I think, couple games or a couple weeks of the season, so make sure you take advantage of that. Throw that into your lineups for sure. And yeah, that's going to cover all my plays. If you guys want to check out Chalkboard, I'm definitely going to be bumping a couple of these guys up. I like Conklin a lot, going to be bumping him up. I like Calvin Austin's receiving yards. They're set really low too, so I'm going to be going over there and bumping those up to like at least 20 something, because I think it's at like 13.5, which is just crazy. He's their burner. He's their speed guy, so I think he's honestly like their Jauan Jennings over there in Pittsburgh. So I feel good about him going into this matchup, like I said. But If you guys want to check out Chalkboard, there's a link in the description below. You should definitely go check them out. They're the king of alt lines, so you can, you know, bump up any line you see here. If you think Calvin Austin's going to go for like 3 or 4 catches like last game, you could bump him up to 2.5 and just get a higher multiplier on that play, so you can kind of make your own demons and goblins if you're familiar with Prize Picks the way they do it. So it's a lot of fun. There's way more options over there, so if you want to check them out, use code backdoor and they'll match your first deposit up to $100, and they'll give you a free play to start with. They also run like 6 specials a day. Tomorrow it's going to be awesome because they're going to have specials going like all day for those games, because there's a bunch of games on Sunday obviously. So tomorrow is the good time to go play if you're going to play them. So yeah, use that link in the description, and that's going to do it for me.
All right. Well, if you guys want to come join our Discord, we've got a killer community over here. Guys have been kind of cashing, keeping themselves busy with baseball, utilizing the free squares for NFL and combining it with their favorite plays. But we all work together in here, and we also chat during the games and whatnot. But we cover fantasy football and, you know, different platforms for props, you know, like DFS and stuff like that. So if you want to come join us, we have extra analysts in here, just a killer community. Just go through the Patreon link that's in the description of the video. Once you sign up through Patreon, it just manages our Discord for us. So you'll just go into the Patreon settings once you sign up, and there's a connected apps tab. You just connect your Discord and it'll unlock the channel for you. You'll have access to every channel in our Discord. If you do that, make sure you hop in the community chat. Let us know that you're new, so we can kind of point you in the right direction, make sure that you understand how to use everything and get the most out of the Discord. And also the community just loves to welcome new members. We're really a family in here. We have a lot of fun. So come join us. And then don't forget to follow us on X at BackdoorFS. And you can also follow me, Jordy, Moose. The 3 of us all have our handles in the description if you want to come join us. So good luck on your Sunday slate. Enjoy this awesome slate, guys. There's a lot of killer matchups tomorrow. So we hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Good luck, guys.